Just you
How's it going, folks? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Doug, and I'm a developer here at Electrovore Games. I say here, we are physically in my beautiful luxury home with my lovely panel there that I have. So I'm very proud to present that to you all. And but anyway, yes, I am a developer here at Electrovore Games. I'm one of the developers on Blood Trail VR, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. This is going to be the first in hopefully a lot of developer log, blog, vlog type of videos featuring myself and hopefully Caleb, the other developer here at Electrovore 2. He's not physically here. He's at his Electrovore Games house, which is like a cool social media house, luxury type house that we have multiple of, and as well as boats. So this channel is not just going to be about Blood Trail. It's also going to be about other stuff that's going on with Electrovore Games, maybe some of our top secret projects that we haven't shown you guys yet, and we might even just fuck around and just play some games sometimes, because that's fun to do, and it'll get us views and stuff. But anywho, so before I even get started, I already know that you guys want to see that big, beautiful boy. So he's actually asleep already now, but I took him out earlier and I got a shot for you guys with my webcam that really sucks, that I'm not using right now because it's so terrible. But anyway, you'll get a look at him right now. So here he is. Here's Choo Choo, my iguana, in all his glory. And I actually found Choo Choo on the street when he was a tiny little baby, no bigger than my finger, and now he's considerably bigger. So say hi to the camera, Choo Choo. Say hi to everyone. You can see your beautiful face. Such a good boy. So now I want to talk a little about Blood Trail and our really big giant update that we've kept you guys waiting on for a really long time. So anyway, where do I even begin? This update has taken a really long time because this is basically a full rebuild of the entire game from the ground up. So it's gonna mostly look the same on the surface. Like, the levels are mostly the same. You're gonna get a new little sandbox level in addition to the one that you already have. But the levels, mostly look the same. But under the hood, there's going to be crazy differences, and some definite visual differences too that you're going to see too. So number one thing I just want to say first out the gate is that there's going to be some big performance boosts coming with this update. So when this comes out, we just made a ton of optimizations to a lot of different areas of the game, so it should run a lot smoother. Beyond just those performance improvements, which I'm not going to bore you to tears with how that stuff all works, but because also a lot of that would reveal how stupid I was before in the way I did things. But anyway, I'm going to just start with talking about our player character, Wendigo, the guy that you actually play as yourself here in this game. So huge differences here. So this is one of the things that is totally 100% rebuilt. In our old, I call it the old version, but it's actually the version that you guys still have on Steam. I'm so used to playing the new version here that, we call that version the old version, but that's actually the current version right now. But anyway, in the current version, aka the old version, the player character just has kind of a lot of limitations in the way it's set up. And so the way that like locomotion works, as far as like when you're walking around with the joystick versus walking like using room scale movement in your actual home with your feet, the transition between those kinds of movements wasn't that great, and the whole movement thing just didn't really feel that smooth. It didn't feel smooth when you were falling. So like if you fell off a ledge, sometimes it would feel smooth, and then sometimes it would just kind of snap you down to the floor, which was not comfortable. Awesome new thing is that we have some more options for locomotion. So hugely requested thing was smooth turning. So I did not want to deal with putting that in for a long time because most of the time smooth turning totally makes me want to puke. And I normally have pretty good VR legs, but I cannot handle the smooth turning for the most part. But I actually found, with this that it's so smooth, and we have different settings. So I actually found that for me, if I put it on the lowest setting, which is like the 15-degree kind of setting, it really was pretty comfortable actually, and I kind of like smooth turning. We also have an option for head-based direction as opposed to controller-based direction, where you have to kind of like turn the controller. So like if you imagine, oh, here's a controller. So it's hard to see on this one. Let's get the old Rift CV1 thing out here. There we go. I took way too long to explain that, but that's how it goes. But anyway, the way it works now is we have that option still if you like that, or you can use head-based direction so that it doesn't matter how you're turning the controller, you're pushing the joystick forward in relation to your head, the direction that you are actually looking. So that I find comes in handy when you're using fucking dual wielding, which we are gonna have in this new update. So that is like a huge thing. The way that everything gets grabbed and gripped and picked up and everything is totally different. It works way better now. And like I said, our old character, had all these limitations. So basically, it was kind of impossible for us to set up dual wielding and a lot of other stuff that we wanted to do. So now, oh man, we got dual wielding. We're not going to let you be stupid and dual wield like AR-10s, like as if they're weightless, or, it would be kind of stupid to dual wield the pump action shotguns. I mean, there's no special mechanism where it's going to like reload them for you like in The Matrix or what is that movie, that terrible movie with Idris Elba, where he's flicking behind him the bullets and catching, and Matthew McConaughey's like, yeah, you can't, my charms, I could be anybody, I'm an evil wizard, but I gotta be from Texas. That movie, I'm sure they want to forget, it was the Tower, it's based on the Disney film, I think, the Disney ride, but, so, it's not like that in Blood Trail. In Blood Trail, you can dual wield, but you still gotta like put one of them down, reload, put the other one, reload. It's the fucking real world here. Well, I mean, it's not the real world, but I don't know how to fucking make that shit happen. Anyway, so that's how that works. But you can dual wield, so that's cool. So you can dual wield the Glock and the Vector and the little AK-74, which is not an AK-47, it's an AK-74, so it's only like 6 pounds, like the same weight as the Vector. And you can mix and match those, and you can also mix and match those with our new melee weapons, which I'll tell you more about in a minute. But kind of the biggest thing about our player character that's changed, that's really exciting, is the hands themselves. So previously, we always, we have hands. I mean, we're not that lame, right? But now our hands have like physical collision with stuff. So when you punch things, when you put your hands on the wall, when you touch your hands together, whatever, they are physically colliding with stuff, and that includes the enemies too, which I'll show you in a minute. But this is just awesome, and we have now, because of these hands, we have all this great interaction with all these objects in the game. Like we have these physical props here, and so they have like their own weight to them. So, you might try to pick up like a mini fridge or whatever with one hand. It's kind of like too heavy, and so you got to use both hands. The guns are also totally rebuilt, and the guns have this awesome collision too with the hands, so you can kind of like rest the guns on stuff, and you can pistol whip the enemies, and it's really awesome, which I'll show you in a minute. The guns, I think now feel a lot more responsive as far as when you try to grab the part where you stabilize versus when you try to grab the slide or the bolt or whatever. I just feel like that's a lot more reliable now. And the recoil is going to feel very, very different now because you have those physical hands. So that whole thing is going to feel different. But I just think the whole thing is a lot better. So another awesome thing is that you're going to be able to have bullet holes on the enemies now. I just want to talk about the enemy now. So like I said, he's going to have bullet holes. Tons of the optimizations for performance were related to how these cult boys and enemies actually worked. So they've had some AI tweaks. So their AI is actually more simple, but it just works a lot better. And you're going to have a lot more fun fighting these guys, because now the big difference with them is that they are physically animated. What I mean by that is, I don't know if you've played the games Gorn or Drunken Bar Fight, I think use physical animation, but it's basically where rather than the animation just being rigid and it just happens no matter what's happening, the animation has kind of like an element of physics on it at all times. So like if you push on their hand will, move and then, come back into place. And like, as far as like the amount of, muscular tension that they spring back with, that's just like kind of a thing that, as developers, we have to just dial that in. So that's going to get changed and optimized over time, but it feels pretty awesome right now. And so you can punch the shit out of these guys. Being that these enemies are physically animated, they respond really well to the punches, and we have, I gotta tell you, rebalanced everything, and these physical hands and these physical weapons, everything's gonna keep you a lot more honest. So there's no more cheating by like punching through the walls or like poking the guns through the walls or any of that crap. That's all over. And as far as punching the enemies goes, it's a lot more fun, but we took it down quite a bit as far as how much HP it takes off of these guys. So I mean, previously, in the current pre-update version, you punch a guy, he's like going down and like he's pretty much dead from like one shot, which it's like, yeah, that could happen sometimes. I mean, it's dangerous, to hit somebody. They could crack their head on the ground and they could die. You hear about these things happening, but that's not guaranteed to happen every time, especially when you really need it to happen when you're fighting these cult boys. So now that these guys are physically responding and they're boxing and doing their thing with you, we have made it so that punching is a lot more realistic, and it's not like more powerful than a bullet from an AR-10, So I don't know if you guys have played the game Thrill of the Fight. That game's really, really fun. It's a boxing VR game. And if you've played that game on like easy mode, then you would probably have an idea of how many punches it's going to take to knock somebody down and, kill them basically with just punches in this game. You're going to have to get them with like 10 or 20 good punches, and there is like a velocity minimum on those punches too. You're not going to have to like throw your shoulder out, but, you're going to have to be a little bit serious with these punches here. We don't want just, this whole thing. As far as the punching goes, you're going to be able to punch them in a wider variety of areas on the body. Like right now, you can kind of punch them in just the head, and I think you can punch them in the balls still. I think we left that enabled. But now you're going to be able to punch them anywhere in the head, the balls. You can punch them anywhere on the body. You can, like, if they're trying to punch you, you can punch them, like, on the arms or whatever to, like, block their shots. And they'll kind of do like a hit react, and their hit reactions are a lot more realistic. Like right now, if you manage to block their shot, it's like the guy's doing like a full tennis forehand, and then like you block the shot and he's like, he does like, he's a bit dramatic about it. It takes like 3 seconds or whatever. Now it's like the guy's punching you, it's like, shit, it's way, way better. So what the fuck am I talking about? Okay. So you can punch him in the balls. All right. Where you cannot punch them is like the thighs. Don't punch people in the thighs, folks. I hope that you're not out there doing that. We're not going to make a game that encourages people to do that. It's really not going to do anything. You can, you punch yourself in the thigh. I encourage you to do it right now. It really does not hurt very much. In fact, a second later, it kind of feels warm. It kind of feels kind of good, a little bit like a massage. So you should definitely punch yourself in the thigh, but do not try to punch the enemies in the thigh. They will not do anything. It's not going to do shit. If you try punching somebody in the thigh in like a real fight in real life, you're going to wake up in the hospital like Jacob's Ladder. Like, it's not going to be good. Don't do that. All right, we're not making a game that encourages that. Don't fucking punch people in the thigh. But you are not stuck with the Marcus of Queensbury boxing rules by any stretch of the imagination. So what you can do now is you can actually shove people by putting 2 hands on their chest, and you just give them a quick shove, and you can knock them down that way. And you can actually do, you weren't fast enough, double leg takedown. Okay? I don't know if we're really, I don't think we can claim to actually be like the first VR game to have that, technically, but the way ours works is a little different just because you're not actually grabbing the enemies. We didn't want to put grabbing of the enemies in just yet, at least, because we just felt like it would be too spammable at this point. But you have to, drop down and actually put both hands on their legs, and then you can kind of scoop them up, and it's just hilarious, and it's really fun. And then once you've done your, takedown, then you can start ground and pounding them, throwing stuff at them, beating the shit out of them, doing whatever you want, pistol whipping them like in Goodfellas, the part right before it gets really slow. We just wanted to make this like a complete brawling, fighting, violence experience for you guys. And so that brings me to a very exciting little part that I'm going to wrap up with here, which is our new physics-based weapons, some of which you get to actually equip to your holsters here and some that you're going to see the enemies using. And so I'm not going to go over all of them, what they do right now, but definitely you're going to see the nice O'Donnell brand baseball bat. You're going to see a lovely sledgehammer, which you can actually, set off the gore and, crack the skulls open and stuff with. So in this update, we're going to have an assortment of weapons for you where you're going to get a pretty good sample of all the different violent things that you can do. But we obviously, it's, the sky's the limit as far as how many weapons we can add. So we definitely want to hear your suggestions for what weapons and physics props and all that stuff you want to see in the game. So please leave us a comment down below. I don't want to be pointing in my pee-pee, but just here, there you go. Down below here, leave us a comment and like and subscribe too, and make sure to share this video and do a bunch of free marketing for us. And but yeah, definitely leave us a comment and let us know what weapons you want to see, what violent stuff you want to be able to do, and what other stuff you're looking forward to here for Blood Trail. So this update, I cannot tell you exactly when this is coming out, but all I can promise you is this, that the second we have something where you guys can go in there and just have some fun, we will put it up on the experimental branch, even if it's still a glitchy mess. So glitchy mess, promised. After the update, we're pretty much going to be rolling on the story campaign for Blood Trail, which is like the long-awaited real game of Blood Trail. But, we wanted to get all our underneath the game, underneath the hood mechanics really good for you guys and make it the game that it's supposed to be. So this update's going to bring a lot of changes, big rebalancing, and the game's going to pretty much feel totally different, but I think it's going to be just way better, and you guys are going to be really, really happy with it. So we're going to try and make more of these videos. Like I said, I'm going to probably even play some games with you guys. So I included that shot of me scratching my nose here, and I'm going to go for another scratch with the dominant hand because, I'm only human. Of flesh and blood I'm made, like the song by, I think that was OMD, Orchestral Movements in the Dark. You kids don't know about this shit. So anyway, guys, I hope that you enjoyed my video of me talking in my lovely, exciting background. And I hope that you enjoyed my harsh lighting and my beams of light. Anyway, guys, have a really good night. And go fuck yourselves.